Alright guys, welcome back to IG8Live Esports, back on with SNS Esports F1 League here, Tier 1 for round 8 of 22 for the Dutch Grand Prix. Bit of a issue with the lobby getting a bit glitched out at the end of Q3, so we are restarting the lobby here right now. Everything should be fine and good to go with the race session itself. I think everything in the lobby has been set to the same, so should still have a bit of rain down to the end of the session, and I think we're about to get started with that there right now. So once again, welcome to everyone who is joining on the stream here with us. Make sure you guys leave a like on the stream and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new on here or if you haven't done so already. So I think we're just about ready to get started here right now. So let's see how good this race start is about to go. It was an interesting qualifying session. If you did miss that, do have a look at that. That video is up on the channel there as well. I think they're doing back the formation lap. So we'll be able to go through back that. Probably looks the same. I think we're short one driver there though, for some reason. Who's that? I'm not sure who's left out, but someone is left out of it. And everyone will be back on their regular tires that they were about to start the race on. So let's get that fully going here right now. I'm going to keep that on full track map, which is usually where we do keep it. So as we have it as the grid is right now, let's see what we got. So 36 laps about to get into this race. We got F1 starting on pole. We got Dixon starting second. We got Salvador starting third, Liverpool starts fourth, Chris will start fifth, Octavian Racer starts sixth, Santi starts seventh, Sadistic 8th, Temp there will start 9th, J Hartnell 10th, Bed there 11th, Hayden there 12th, we got Andy there starting 13th, Night Shadow 14th, Timmy 15, Killer J 16, and Rizzle will start there in 17th as it is there right now. So we're going to just wait for the cars to get back around the track and get sorted on the grid so we can get this race started and going with, and hopefully have an exciting race start as well. Not sure if we do expect a safety car or VST on the race start. We'll see how well it's going to go with the drivers getting through to turn 1. Because I think it's going to get quite interesting as well. We're going to keep an eye on F1 Perel and Dixon as they get started with the race and see how well the two of them are going to handle that race start as well. So everyone just getting their tires warmed up as much as they can for the start of this race. As you can see, our top 7 cars right now are on the mediums. I think someone in the top 10 is missing. I'm not even sure who that is at the moment. We'll have a look at that later on to see how that goes. But yep, top 7 cars on the mediums, then 8th and 9th on the softs, and J Hart and 10th on the hards there, as well as Rizzle. So a bit of an interesting strategy they're going to be running, and if it's going to be raining down to the end of the session, going to be a bit interesting with that as well. Everyone's getting back sorted on the grid there right now, so let's just wait for that, and then once the last car is in, that's going to be Rizzle, we should be ready to go. I think everyone's just getting sorted there right now, so let's have a look. Leaderboard seems to already be getting messed up, and we're keeping that on position change so you guys can have a look at that. Let's see how the start goes between F1 Perel and TTV Dixon here, about to get started. Get a bit of an equal start as they get on down. F1 Perel takes position in front of Dixon, and Sofdar getting in middle of that as they get around turn 1. We got a few cars going wide off track. They're a bit behind as well. Let's have a look what's happening if we can. I think we can see some debris flying off the cars down in the back. We got a virtual safety car already. 5-second penalty to Timmy for severe collision with Night Shadow down at the back of the grid. Somewhere in the middle here, so I'm not sure what's happening on the back, but leaderboard is mixed up, so let's ignore that there for now. As you get on through the virtual safety car, that leaderboard should be sorted back through in just a bit, but a few incidents down at the back of the track has caused a virtual safety car here, and we can see, well, the percent changes are not going to be correct as it is there right now, but we're just scrolling through to see what's happening with the grid as it is there. We might have there, definitely if we have a few cars with damage, as Niger has some severe damage on that car they're getting through. I'm going to get back to the front of the grid here with F1 Perel if we can. And I think our grid has sorted itself back out. So Sofdar got a pretty good start there ahead of Dixon before the end of lap 1. He's up in the second. Dixon is down to third. We had Octavian Racer is up 2 positions right now. Liverpool down 1 position. That virtual safety car is over, and we're back racing here right now. Put on back out the tires and let's see how it's going. So out in front, F1 Perel leads by about 4 tenths. He's trying to get a gap going against the racing point of Sofdar right now. Let's see how that's going to go. Sofdar does seem to be catching up just quite a bit as they get on through to the second lap here right now. He's right up to the rear of that car. Leaderboard once again getting mixed up. We're just going to ignore that for now. So Sofdar running second, Dixon running in third. He's still about half a second behind as well, and keeping a close gap as he can. Octavian Racer keeping up there as well as is Liverpool. So quite a close gap between our top few cars. We got Savdar and F1 Perel going side by side as F1 Perel goes down to second now. Savdar got that move done up into first place. He's now leading the Dutch Grand Prix here on the second lap of this race. Getting faster purple sectors there as well. So getting a good start for him. Went up to second, now up to first, so he's leading. Let's see how long he's able to hold on to that lead. F1 Perel is going to be looking to get back that position if he can. Dixon there looking to get a move done on Perel as well. Let's see how well that's going to go. Down in the back of the grid, I think we got a bit of a gap starting to form between most of our drivers, about a second or two. Out in front, I think we do have our closest gap right now is with F1 Perel and Savdar going on board with Perel right now. Let's see how close he's getting to Savdar on the run going down into turn one. No DRS online as yet, but we are going to put telemetry on so you guys can have a look at that and see how it's going as he gets right up to the rear of the racing point, going around turn one. Tries to take it a bit on the inside to try and gain some time. Still keeping it within about 3/10 behind Savdar though, so quite a close gap he's working with. Behind he does have Dixon coming pretty close off, so he's looking to get by, as well as is Octavian Racer down in the back, but he's now falling back about 1.2 seconds behind, so needs to be a bit careful there to try and catch up and not lose that time, because DRS will be online pretty soon. He will want that advantage when it does come online. We're into lap 3 of 36 here right now. It's a pretty short lap around Zandvoort, about a minute. Just over a minute, 10-12 seconds or so, I assume, for a lap time. So we'll see what the guys are going to be working out with here. Hopefully we should be able to finish up the session and join on our next session in time still, even with the glitch that we had on the race start there itself. So still a pretty close gap out front here, so still focusing here for that reason. With Savdar, F1 Perel and Dixon, a pretty close gap between the three of them, fighting it off for the lead of the race as it is. Savdar now still leading F1 Perel there. Down to second, he started there in P1. Dixon starting in second. The three of them we can see going off into the distance out in front. And they're keeping a pretty constant gap between themselves as they get around on this race here right now. And as it is, Liverpool is now within DRS range of Octavian Racer there. Of course, not online, as I think he should be online by this lap here right now, as we're in lap 4. So let's see if that's going to be any help to the drivers who are going to be getting that DRS advantage. But out in front, still running pretty close off, as Dixon's starting to lose about 2/10 right now. Perel losing about a 10 to behind Savdar there as he's going. So they're going to want to try to avoid losing time right now. Dixon is about to go out of DRS range from Perel if he's not careful here. Down to about 8 to 9/10 behind. Needs to be a bit careful with that gap as he has it there. Octavian Racer really trying to catch up, but he is losing time about 1.7 seconds currently behind Dixon, and we got Liverpool about another 5/10 behind, so he has some pretty good gap to work with. Will be able to use that DRS advantage. Of course, Sadistic there another second behind, trying to keep within a second of Liverpool right now, running on the soft tires as well. So a bit interesting to see how that strategy is going to work out for Sadistic. Starting the race on the softs, we'll have to take an early pit stop because we'll have to run a very short stint on that. J. Hartnell though on Night Shadow. Currently on the hards, as well as Thames and Hayden, and I think Rizzle was on it as well. He did do a stop on the opening lap, I think, went onto the medium tires there, so let's see how that's going to work for him there. So out in front, so still some pretty close gap, and I go down to Liverpool here in P5. He's running behind Octavian Racer, on board with him to see how close that gap is getting, and it's just about 5/10 and staying a bit constant around that, but he is trying to catch up to the Red Bull as much as he can. We got some penalties being handed out down in the back of the grid at the moment between for Scares, Night Shadow and Timmy there. They're going to have to be very careful about the penalties, as it is going to affect their race positions down to the end of the race there in terms of track position and points for the race finish. So we'll see how that works. So down in the back of the grid here with Timmy chasing after Thames there. And he's trying to pull it on the inside. Let's see if he's going to be able to get that done. Not able to, because Shadow did go a bit wide. But Thames Shadow still running there in 13th as it is. 4/10 gap is between them. I'm trying to have a look out front. I can see Dixon is now out of that DRS rate. He's now 1.4 seconds behind Perel. So Perel is gaining time on Savdar right now, and a pretty close gap going down the pit straight he had. Down to about 2/10 he had it, and now is up to back about 3/10. So still running pretty strong out front. He's desperately trying to get back the lead of this race. He's lost that from the opening first 2 to 3 laps. He lost the lead to Savdar and is really trying to get it back, but Savdar has shown some significant pace from the start of this race, getting to this point, so he's not going to be aiming to give up the race lead anytime soon. He's going to try to keep that gap as much as he can. Just 5/10 is what it is, because F1 Pearl is doing a pretty good job of keeping up with him, and he's getting away from Dixon just a bit there right now. Dixon having some problems keeping up, 1.4 seconds behind right now, so he's losing some time. Octavian Racer has lost a bit more time there as well, but Liverpool is still keeping up with him, so might be holding up Liverpool if he's going to try to be a bit faster there. But Racing Point having a good day on track here right now. Liverpool trying to get up another position if he can. He's about 5/10, 6/10 behind Octavian Racer in the Red Bull, so needs to get past him in order to get that going. Got Jay Hartnell and Pet getting a pretty close gap between the two of them on board right now with Perel using his DRS advantage and all of the overtake that he has. Gets right up to the rear of Savdar's Racing Point, but is not able to get a gap going to get that overtake done as yet. But a pretty significant gap, as he has it pretty close between him. And let's see if he's able to get it. He might just be playing a bit of a waiting game here. Might actually just put this towards maybe the pit stops to try to get past him. Let's see what that's gonna do. Or if that's gonna work, I'm not sure. But this is going to be down to a bit on strategy for a race here between the two of them for that overtake to get done, because I don't think it doesn't look like he's getting that overtake done anytime soon unless Savdar makes some sort of significant mistake at this point in the race here, because the gap is staying quite a bit constant between 3/10 and 5/10 and really not going further down than at 2/10 right now. As it goes down to 2/10 down the pit straight is where he gets most of the advantage on the DRS zone. He's trying to build back his ERS at the moment, if he can. Going down to Liverpool here, chasing down Octavian Racer. He's definitely trying to get up into P4 in this race if he can. And a pretty close gap, so he might actually be able to pull this off maybe in the next few laps or so. We're on lap 7 right now of 36. And there we got Liverpool trying to take it on the inside of that Red Bull. Not able to get it done as yet, but still got a pretty good run down that pit straight to the DRS advantage. That helped them out a lot there. So we're trying to keep an eye on Savdar and Perel out in front for the lead of the race as well. And in the meanwhile, we're following on with Liverpool and Octavian Racer. I think down at the back of the grid to midfield, most of our cars have a bit of a gap between them. We're still keeping an eye on see what's happening with the race so far. But out in front is where we have two major battles going on. One for the lead of the race and one for P4 as we have it here. We can see that gap getting much closer between Savdar and Perel as they go down the pit straight. Goes down to about 2/10 and then starts to go back up to about 5/10 again. So a bit of a constant situation going on. But that might change depending on how the pit stops go between the two cars and what happens in terms of weather conditions going down to the end of the race, because we do expect the rain to come down later on in the session. So that might affect things just a little bit. We're going to see who's going to be winning this race between the two of them. Even if it is going to be one of them, I'm not sure. We'll see how that goes. Now we got Liverpool getting right up to the rear of Octavian Racer. Uses the DRS advantage. Doesn't have any ERS to use. He's trying as much as he can to get up to the rear of that car, trying to get an overtake done. Let's see if the second DRS zone is going to give him any sort of advantage or not. Following the exact same line as well as Octavian Racer right now, trying to keep that car as steady as he can too, and getting through with the lap. On lap 9 up to happy going through it of 36. But so far so good between the two of them. Out in front, Perel doing a pretty good job of keeping up with Savdar for the lead, but still not be able to get it back as yet. As you can see, there's a pretty close gap between the Racing Point and the McLaren. And he's trying as much as he can here right now with his DRS advantage, and they're trying to conserve a bit of ERS as we can see right now. Trying to keep that up maybe for a bit of strategy that he's going to be playing on later on in the race. So he might have to just do a bit of a waiting game with this overtake and probably just save up that ERS maybe just a little bit and see how that goes. But he's using it down the pit straight where he gets the most advantage, using the DRS as well, and he's trying to keep in the slipstream of Savdar. He's going to get the move done here right now. Let's see if he gets it on the inside into turn 1. He gets the position back up into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix right now. That's Savdar down back to second, so quite an incredible overtake done for him. Pretty clean as well. So I got to say, that was pretty well done there by Perel. Gets back into the lead of the race. Savdar down back to second. Let's see if he's able to get it back as we're on board with him here right now. And gap is up to about 6/10. and is keeping constant along to about 5/10 there right now. So let's see if Perel is able to increase that gap against Sofdar, which is what he needs to do right now. He needs to get out, needs to keep Sofdar out of his DRS range, which is going to lessen the advantage that he does have over him, because Sofdar can play the same strategy and try to get that overtake back down once again, and it's just going to be a switching game between the two drivers going through the race on lap 10 right now. So let's see what's going to happen. Gap is down already to 2/10. Perel is going to have to defend quite aggressively here right now to try and keep that car behind if he wants to, and try to keep the lead as long as he can going on through. And let's see when the pit stops are going to happen, which is not going to be right away, because with these medium tires they're running for a one-stop strategy here. Of course, that's for a full dry race, and down the pit straight they go here right now. Gap is going down to about 3/10 now. They're going down to about 2/10 possibly. Yes, it is. And we got Sofdar trying around the outside, and they are currently lapping Russell 6, who's currently running in 17 there, so getting through that traffic quite easily as well as he allows them to get through. Gap is still about 4/10 between these two, still about 3/10 right now. So Sofdar definitely looking to get back that lead, and he led for quite a few laps from the start of the race coming to that point, but I think he's going to try as much as he can to get it back here. I think Perel definitely wants to keep the lead though, because his teammate is Timmy, currently down in 12 out of the top 10, so he needs to get as much points in here for the team as he can. And hopefully his teammate is able to get up into the top 10. We'll see how that's going to work out. Into lap 11 right now we are in this race of 36 and going. And it's going pretty well so far. An intense battle between our race leaders F1 Perel and Sofdar running in second. So we did have Perel start in P1. We have Sofdar started in third. He got ahead of Dixon on the race start and got ahead of Perel. And Perel just got back ahead of him. So let's see how that's going to continue on for the rest of the race. On board right now, as you can see, Sofdar trying to keep in a slipstream of Perel going down that pit straight as well. He's getting close, just about 2/10, the same situation that was going on when Perel was running in second and Sofdar was in the lead of the race. We got Liverpool getting past the Red Bull of Octavian Racer, wrong turn one here right now into lap 12, and I think that's might hold actually. Yeah, Liverpool is actually holding that through, so he's got up at the P4. Of course, Octavian Racer is trying to get it back, but he's falling back up behind. Just a bit about 4 or 5 tenths already behind. So it looks like Liverpool got that quite easily done there. Actually, I struggled maybe a little bit just to get an overtake done, because it took him quite a few laps to set himself up for that overtake, but still got it done pretty well, and he's now up into P4. He's going to have to try to build a lead against Octavian Racer right now, and now try to catch up to TTV Dixon there running in third in the race there, and the gap is about 4 seconds between them. They're running on a bit of same strategy right now with the tire situation as it is. Of course, Sadistic running 5.3 seconds there behind Octavian Racer now. He's in 6th, running on the softs. He's going to have to do a pit stop pretty soon. We're going to see how that's working out, because he might have to run 2 pit stops to get through this race starting on the softs there. Well, we'll see how that's going to work out though, but let's see what's going to happen. Jay Hartnell going to be running a very long stint on those hards, so we'll see how that's going to work. And getting back out front, gap is getting pretty close out between these two, F1 Perel and Sofdar, for the lead of the race. Perel still continuing on with that lead into lap 13 right now, and I think that's going to continue for a bit more. It's Sofdar is going to have to set himself up for this overtake, or probably based it on a strategy of the pit stops itself, or maybe conditions on track might be what changes the aspect of this race. We're going to see how that goes, because we can see it's already starting to get a bit cloudy on in the session here, which means that rain is setting itself up to come on down later on in the session, which means we should see some drizzle, possibly getting close off to the end of the race, maybe last 10 laps or so. Might start to drizzle between that sort of session here, so we're going to see how that's going to work. But for now, we're following on to see what's happening down in the back here, back with Octavian Racer and Liverpool, who got up into 4th place ahead of him. So his gap is now about 8 tenths between the two of them. So Liverpool looking to increase the gap and take it over a second to keep him out of the DRS range if he can. We'll see how that's going to work out for him. We're going to go down to the midfield of the grid here right now, follow on with Ped and Andy there in 9th and 10th, both Renault teammates running behind of each other. 3 tenths is Andy behind, and I want to see if these guys are actually racing each other or not, or if they're just running based on strategy here, see what's happening, because the car in front of them is Jay Hartnell, and he's about 5 seconds ahead. So I want to see if they're running on a strategy to see who's faster to chase after the car in front, or if they're just trying to race each other. I'm not sure, but it does look like Andy is going to try to get past his teammate here right now, has his overtake on, has the DRS advantage. He's going to take it on the inside of turn 1, and looks like he's going to get ahead of his teammate and that puts Pet down into 10th now on the grid. Hayden there running about 22 seconds behind these guys. He's in 11th. Let's see how that strategy is going to work out with him. He's on the hard tires as well, currently, and running with that. Alright, so that's a switch between the Renault drivers there at the moment. Let's see if Andy's able to catch up to Jay Hartnell. It's about 5.1 seconds ahead. And he was pretty fast in qualifying, so we're going to see how that's going to work with him. Octavian Racing still about 8 tenths behind Liverpool. He's trying to keep that gap a bit constant if he can. When it was the other way around with Liverpool down in 5th, they had a gap about 5 tenths. So not too bad with Octavian Racing keeping the gap about 8 tenths right now, but he needs to keep it that and under, but he's starting to go over a second right now, which means he will lose that DRS advantage. So going back up to Softar here, still chasing after Perel for the lead of the race, and he gets up close behind him, at least 2 to 3 tenths during that stint going down the pit straight. We're into lap 15 right now as it is. We're starting to get close to that halfway point of the race here. Let's see how the rest of the race is going to go, because it's going to be very interesting. We do have Sadistic into the pits, getting off the soft tires. He's going on to the hards here on lap 15. Which means he's pulling off a one-stop strategy even on the soft tires there right now. Bit of an aggressive strategy, but still he's going to put it off. And he's going to go on to the hards to go to the end of the race. Of course, if the weather conditions do call for intermediates going down to the end, he will have to do that switch, as will everyone else. So that's still a bit of fair advantage to him there. So currently running in 10th, which is not too bad after his one and only pit stop that he plans to do here, unless he has to do in order to go on to the intermediates. We'll talk about that later on though. But still, running in 10th, in the top 10 still, after his stop, and he do have a lot of cars in front of him who have to do pit stops coming up pretty soon. So we'll see how that goes and work out for strategy-wise for him. Killer J is still on the soft tires. There are 12 laps on those so far. I'm still following on with Perel and Softar out in front leading this race. Gap still the same between the two of them, and I don't think that's going to go anywhere anytime soon. It might just continue on for most of the race, I would say. We'll see what sort of situation will happen if the weather conditions on track do change. So far so good though. They're keeping the gap as constant as they can, so Softar is able to keep up with him. Of course, Perel is not able to get a bigger gap going, so we'll see how that's going to work out going down to the end of this race. Alright guys, so we got Pet, I see, into the pits there right now. Still following on out in front to see what's happening with these two. Track is getting a bit cloudy as we can see there still. We'll focus a bit on that later on, maybe after lap 25 or so. We'll see what the situation with the weather is on track. So let's see what's happening with pit stops. We do have guys doing pit stops. We got penalties still on the grid. Let's have a look at the penalties so far. So 15 seconds of penalties for Timmy. That is insane right now. And then we got Squares there 8 seconds. Night Shadow 5 seconds. Got a few more cars going into the pits as we can see there. Position changes, we have it there. We'll have a look more at that later on. Let's keep this on here and see what this gap is looking like between Perel and Softar. Still about 2 tenths as they get around to the turn 1 there of the track. And they're about to lap, I think, Night Shadow there in 14th on the grid there right now. So getting through that traffic a bit. I think that's the closest gap we have on track, except for Hayden down here in 12th. Trying to get ahead of Timmy. Let's see if that's working out for him. I think he should have the pace to actually get by. He's running on the hard tire since the start of this, well, not since the start of this race, but since, at least since lap 4, I think he did that stop. And he's been running on the hard tires, so running a pretty interesting strategy there as well. Let's see what that's going to work out for him. Rizzle there running on 14 laps on those mediums so far, 17 laps on the mediums for the guys who started on the mediums. So let's see how much you're able to push on through to that. We're at the halfway point of this race right now, lap 18 of 36. I'm still following on with a few of our battles. We have it. We got Hayden and Timmy fighting it out for 11th right now. About 6 tenths is where the gap is between the two of them. Out in front, Safdar and and Safdar and Perel have switched. We got Perel into the pits, which has caused that switch. So our race leader is into the pits right now. He's going to go onto the hard tires to go to the end of the race. Let's see what sort of lap Safdar is about to do. If he's going to do an in-lap here right now to get into the pits, I'm not sure. We do have Perel getting back out on track here right now. Let's see what position he comes back out on. So he needs to have a pretty good out lap. And if Safdar is about to pit, he needs to have a pretty good in lap. Safdar is out third on the grid there right now, back on track. He's about 12 seconds behind Dixon. Dixon's about 2.3 seconds behind Safdar. And Safdar running in front. Let's see if he's going to be doing a pit stop on this lap here or not, because I'm not sure how this is going to work out for him. But needs to get a pretty good lap in if he wants to do the stop at this point. On lap 19 of the race as we have it here right now, it might just be about time to do a stop as well. But we'll have to try to get it pretty well and pretty fast in the pits to get out back and stay and hopefully get it ahead of F1 Perel if he can't. Now the gap was pretty close off, so he needs to have a pretty fast pit stop and have a pretty good in lap here to get this done. Stay on board right now with Safdar. Let's see if he's going to go into the pits here right now. Looks like he might. Yep, he is going into the pits and makes to make sure that he does not speed getting into the pits there right now. Now this is going to be pretty close. Let's have a look. Where is Perel on track as he's about to get around the final turn? It's going to be pretty close off between the two of them. So let's see if he's able to get ahead and come out in front. We already got Safdar getting out of the pit. This is going to be quite close between them. Looks like Perel will get ahead though and get back the lead of the race as he gets around here right now, and he does get ahead. Gap is still about 5 tenths between them, 7 tenths actually, 8 tenths. So it looks like Perel has gained about a few tenths off of Safdar there, which he might be able to gain back. We'll see how that works. Both of them running on the same strategy there. Dixon now leading the race out front. He's going to be doing his stop pretty soon as well and probably come back out right there in third on the grid as he was before. But he's leading the race for just a bit right now. Let's see if that's going to work for him. Gap is about a second between Safdar and Perel right now. So Perel is trying to get some sort of advantage out of this here and try to keep Safdar out of that DRS range if he can, which is going to be a pretty interesting move for him if he's able to do that. But he's still within it at the moment, still within the DRS range, and still has that advantage to try and keep up with him. They're about 10.6 seconds behind Dixon right now. So when Dixon pits, that will pull F1 Perel back into the lead of the Dutch Grand Prix. We're on lap 20 of 36 right now. And so far so good. Let's go down to statistic here in P8. Running just behind Andy. He's trying to get by. Trying to push it on through the inside of that Renault. And not able to get it through as yet. A bit of minor contact between them. No damage. And statistic gets on through. Looks like he gets up into P7. That's Andy down to 8 right now. Not a bad move for him getting up that position. So he's up to 7th. He's going to continue running behind J Hart now right now. Try to catch up to him. About 5.7 seconds ahead. Already starting to build a gap. And Safdar is already starting to bring his gap back down to about 5 tenths. He's down to 7 tenths right now between the two of them. Him and Perel out in front, second and third as they are on the grid. Those two actually run quite an interesting race out front. We got Andy trying to catch back up to statistic right now. Let's have a look on board with the Renault driver, see what's happening here. Remember, Andy did have a Q2 ban, so was not able to participate in qualifying 2. Had to start somewhere in the middle of the grid there. And still up into 8 on this race here right now, running 20 laps so far on those mediums. TTV Dixon, same situation there right now, running 20 laps on the mediums and leading the race at the moment. Let's see how long that's going to go on for. Going back down to Hayden here and Timmy still chasing after each other in this race. Timmy now close off to Pet there, trying to get ahead of the Renault. Oh, and Pet goes off track. What's happened to him there? He's off track, trying to get back going here right now. I'm not sure if he took any damage on that car. Looks like he might have taken some damage. I'm not sure. Actually, looks like he's fine. He's getting back going. We're back up here with Timmy and Hayden, running about 4 tenths between the two of them. Back up to Softar here right now on Perel. 4 tenths still between the two of them. And this might just continue just a bit more. I'm not sure what sort of strategy Dixon is running out in front, but 21 laps so far done on those medium tires. Same situation we have with Andy there. They've run 21 laps on the mediums. And there we go. Dixon is going to the softs to go to the end of the race there, right? And that's going to put Perel back into the lead. Softar up back into second. And he should be able to exit the pits and get her back third on the grid there. Already getting our invite for the next race session coming up just after this one, guys. So do join us on for that one as well. That's going to be for the Canadian Grand Prix with PGS on the division. So it's going to be another fun race there as well after we get finished here. On board right now is Softar, 3 tenths behind F1 Perel there, who is leading this race, who has led most of the race, I would say, so far. So Softar has led a little bit of it. Dixon has led a few laps when those two were in the pits getting back out. But let's see who's going to be winning the race. Perel looks pretty good so far after taking the win of this race. And neither of these guys have penalties so far, which is actually pretty impressive on their end. But if one of them does get a penalty, that's going to change the entire aspect of the race. Now Dixon running on the softs to go to the end. A pretty interesting strategy from him. And why I say that is because he's now 4.5 seconds behind Softar. He's now going to be able to challenge these guys for the lead of the race if he's able to catch up to them using that soft tire. Let's see if that's going to work for him. We got to see if he's going to be able to break the gap down. Gap is about 4.8 seconds as it is there right now. And we can see Santi getting right up to the side of someone here. That's Sadistic there, I think. And he's trying to take it on the inside of Sadistic right now into turn 1, I think it is. Or, yep. And J Hartnell into the pits there. Let's see if he's getting that position up, and it doesn't look like he is. He's going to have to keep in 7th right now. Trying to fight it for 6th with the Sadistic here. So let's see what that's going to go between the two of them. Scrace is out of this race. Unfortunately, he's on back of the grid there. I think he did retire in the pits. I'm not sure how that situation went off with him. Just Santi trying to keep this gap as close as he can here right now. Really trying to keep on the rear of Sadistic's car to try to get ahead if he can. His teammate is down there in 16th as a result. Killer J and Pet, I think, having a bit of a switch there. Dixon and Softar having a switch as what happened here right now. So Dixon has got a head up into 2nd in this race here right now, as we're getting on back to the pitch. So those soft tire strategy is working pretty well. He started on the mediums, as did Perel and Softar. He did a much longer stint than the two of them, going on to the soft tires to go to the end of the race. He's only done one lap on them so far, and he's already gotten ahead of Softar. 4.5 seconds was the gap. Actually 4.7 seconds was the gap between him and Softar, and he's gotten ahead of him up in the 2nd place. Softar now doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get back ahead. Now this strategy could be quite an interesting one to see how it's going to work out, because the gap is now 4.3 seconds. He's already gained about 2 tenths, 3 tenths now on Perel out in front on the lead. Perel is going to have to be a bit worried about this right now, because he's running on the hard test to go to the end of the race, and Dixon is catching up pretty quickly. Let's see how fast he's able to break that gap down. Rizzle has retired from the race. I think he's retired in the pits there. That's 2 drivers out. We got 15 drivers still in this race and going. But quite an interesting race we had here so far. Softar's gap is down to about 7 tenths behind Dixon right now. So I gotta say, I'm quite impressed with the strategy Dixon is running, because he's now 3.9 seconds behind Perel, and looks like he might actually be able to catch up. He's trying to get through some traffic here right now. We got, I think, what's happening? We got a virtual safety car happening? Or is that a full safety car? Because I see all yellow flags along the track, and it's a safety car happening. I'm not sure why it's not showing on screen. Or is that just some sort of glitch? I'm not even sure what the heck is happening, because everyone seems to be... Oh, there we go. So it is a safety car on lap 26, and Killer J is out to the race. I think that's something bit of what caused the safety car. And there is his car. I think that was there. Yeah, that was Killer J's car down on the side of the track. So that's what's caused the safety car there. And this is going to slow the entire race down here right now. A bit of an interesting change, which is going to put Dixon right up to the rear of Perel's car and put him at a very, very big disadvantage right now. He's going to be standing a very good chance of losing the lead of the race to Dixon, who's on those fresh soft tires to go to the end of the race here. And we don't see any rain coming down anytime soon here. It might start to drizzle maybe in the next 5 laps or so, but if it doesn't start to rain pretty soon, they're not going to have to switch on to the intermediate tires. They will be able to finish the race on the dry tires itself, and that's not going to be good for F1 Perel, because Dixon is right up to the rear of him, and that's not looking good for him keeping the lead of the race. He's already gotten past Sofdar, who's now down to 4th here. He's done a pit stop during that safety car. He's gone onto the medium tires. His team at Liverpool is ahead of him on the hards to go to the end. We got Octavian Racer did a pit stop as well. I think went onto the soft tires there. So quite a few cars did stops under the safety car there and went onto soft tires. I want to see how that strategy is going to work going down to the end of the race now. Now this has slowed the race down just a bit until we get over with the safety car here. So F1 Perel still currently leads on the safety car on lap 26 right now. Dixon now in 2nd. Liverpool now up into 3rd. Sofdar in 4th. We had Octavian Racer running 5th. Santi running 6th. Sadistic running 7th. Jay Hartnell runs 8th. Andy running 9th. Timmy running 10th. Then we got Hayden 11th. We got Night Shadow in 12th. We got Thames in 13th. And Pedder running 14th. Killer J out of the race in 15th. He's what caused the safety car. Rizzle retired. He's 16th. And Squares retired after the race in 17th. So let's see what's going to happen with this one here. Jay Hartnell into the pits there right now, getting onto the soft tires as well. He's getting back out on track there right now. Going to follow the order a bit there, I think, as well. So we're now waiting for the race to get back restarted here. Probably going to happen maybe at the end of lap 27. Who knows? Let's have a look. We'll see by the time we get around to sector 3 of the track. Hopefully it gets back started here so we can get finished off with this session and see who's going to be winning this race, because it's going to be quite close between Perel and Dixon here right now for the race win. If Perel is not able to hold back Dixon, he's going to be able to get ahead and take the win of this race. So we're going to see how this is going to work out. All our cars are getting close back together, so it's going to be everyone bunched up back again behind the safety car to get that race restarted, and we're going to see how the race finish goes, because this is going to be very, very interesting and quite close between our top 2, Perel and Dixon. It does look like Dixon has the much more better advantage on the soft tires to get ahead of Perel here. And there we go. I think we just start to see some drizzle coming down here right now. On lap 27 is starting to drizzle right now. Of course, not time to go on to any intermediate tires as yet, as it's just starting to drizzle. So no standing water on track as yet. They're going to have to run quite a few laps before they do switch on over to intermediates. If it does get wet enough on track for that, of course, this is going to be a bit dependent on how fast that rain comes down. So quite an interesting change happening. We knew it was supposed to rain down to the end of the race, but did not expect a safety car down at the end of the race at this point. So let's see how that's going to change things up for the race. Hopefully no one... why do we have cars going into the pits? I'm really hoping these cars are not going on to the intermediate tires, because it's not time for that as yet. The track is not that wet. It's barely starting to drizzle. So I highly doubt it's time to go on to the intermediate tires. So I think a few drivers honestly are making a bit of a mistake here right now. Or maybe they know what they're doing, who knows. They're going on to the intermediates right now, and hopefully that everyone in front of them will have to change off to the intermediates after the safety car goes in, and they will be able to get up a few positions. I think that's what the strategy they're playing at right now. So they're hoping by the time the safety car is over with, it's going to be time to get onto the intermediates, and all the cars in front of them who have not pitted will have to do a pit stop, and that's going to gain them a few positions here. So I think that's what everyone behind who's going on to the intermediates are probably hoping for. Let's see how that's going to go, because I know that's not going to go too well on track with the intermediates in terms of grip right now. Since there's no water on track, they're going to have to be very, very careful about how they drive on track here. So let's have a look and see if any spray is coming off those cars. Not really much as yet, but it's going to start to. So maybe by the end of lap 29, I would assume it's going to be... It'll be probably close enough to get onto the intermediates. It's starting to get a bit wet. They need the rain to come down pretty quickly though. So let's see how the strategy is going to work. If our top 6 cars are going to stay on the dry tires and go to the end of the race, or they're going to have to switch. But if they start to lose grip, they will have to do that switch. So let's see if they're going to do a pit stop anytime soon here. This is a bit of a frustrating strategy for them right now. They're leading the race. F1 Pro leading, Dixon in second. So they're all deciding what to do out in front there right now. And looks like the safety car is going in on this lap here. We're about to go back racing into lap 29. So quite an interesting finish. This is about to be here right now. So let's see between Perel and Dixon what's about to happen as we're about to get back started with the race here. The safety car is going in. And they're going into the pits. They're going to go on to the intermediate tires. And it's going to be an interesting situation there happening as they're all going to be losing their position. That's going to put Liverpool up into the lead, I think, there right now. No, Santi up into the lead, sorry. He gets up into the lead of the race. And that puts Liverpool down to second. So quite an interesting change happening. Statistic out of the race. So let's see how this is going to work going through to the end right now. Temp is in a bit of the traffic there, getting through with that. So Santi now leads the Dutch Grand Prix with Liverpool in second. Jay Hartnell running in third. A pretty close gap between him and Liverpool for second place. We got Night Shadow running fourth. Timmy running fifth. Perel running sixth now after his pit stop. Dixon running seventh. Octavian Racer running eighth. Andy running ninth. Oh, Sofdar running 9th, sorry. And Andy running 10th. Hayden running 11th. Temp will go up to 12th. And Ped will go up to 13th. As Sadistic is out of the race. So an unexpected change there on the grid order as we have it going through to the end now. On lap 29, the rain is now starting to come down just a bit more. Track is going to start to get wet now and enough for the intermediate tires as it is, because it's coming down pretty quickly. So we're going to keep an eye on the gaps as we have it going on through, but I think our closest gap is with Night Shadow and Jay Hartnell and Dixon and F1 Perel. Still, those two are still fighting it out for a position in the race. But out front, Santi has a pretty good lead for the final 6 laps going to the race here right now. He has a pretty good lead, a 2-second gap there between him and Liverpool for his first place there. Then about 9 tenths behind Jay Hartnell. Of course, DRS will be offline. Timmy there running a second behind Night Shadow. Perel running 5.6 seconds behind Timmy, his teammate, now ahead of him because of the change-up happening during the safety car with the rain coming down. And getting wet very, very quickly on track here as we can see. So let's see how this is going to work. And that is what's happening with Dixon and Perel here. They're going side by side trying to switch positions here. Dixon is definitely trying to get by of Perel. Let's see if he's going to be able to get that position up. I think he was going alongside him for a second but lost that, and he's got to just settle back down for 7th place in the race. Out the front gap is now 2.7 seconds between Santi and Liverpool, so quite an interesting change there. Santi's getting ahead pretty well, and looks like he's going to keep that lead. Liverpool running second, still Jay Hartnell running third. Night Shadow running fourth with a penalty, and Timmy running behind him. I know Timmy has a lot of penalties, so he's going to be losing out that 5th place quite easily. Perel will be getting up a position, but he does have a penalty now as well, so be careful about that. Andy has a penalty down here in 10th. See how that's going to work out for them. 3 tenths right now the gap between Dixon and Perel, and Dixon having some trouble with the car, losing time now to Perel as he gets ahead. Let's have a look at Sofdar here chasing after Octavian Racer there in 8th. So these two are now added, finding out for 8th place in the race on lap 31 right now going. So a 5-10 gap between them. Let's see how that's going to finish off the race. Out in front, Santi is still getting quite a lead going on. Okay, so let's see how this race is going to finish up, because quite an interesting finish now. Santi now 4 seconds ahead of Liverpool, running in the lead. Liverpool down to second still in 4 seconds behind. Let's see how it's working, because he now has Jay Hartnell coming up 5 tenths behind him. So might be looking to come under some pressure from Jay Hartnell there, because Jay Hartnell now down 2 tenths, going down the pit straight, and he's trying to take it on the inside of Liverpool if he can, but not enough of a close gap as yet. Still going to have to just hold it off there in 3rd on the grid. Still a podium position if he does finish right there. That's for on lap 32 ongoing, so not a lot of laps left to get this done, but they have to be a bit careful with the track condition as it is there right now. It's still a bit slippery on track as it just started to rain. I think that 310 gap might hold just for a while, but let's see if J Hartnell is able to get by. He definitely might have to work on a better strategy for this. Not a lot of laps, but he might be able to do this if Liverpool makes a mistake in front, because he's losing time to Santi very quickly and probably is holding up J Hartnell just a little bit there. As let's see how that gap is going to work out. Dixon and Perel here, still a pretty close gap between the two of them for 6th place right now as it is in the race. 6 tenths the gap is. Got Savdar and Octavian Racer, another 6 tenths between the two of them, so they're still fighting it out through for that position. Not too bad so far. So we're going to have to see how the penalties are going to work out with this. So we'll put that on by the time we get around to lap 35 and have a look what's happening in that situation, because as it is right now, we know a few drivers do have penalties. I know Timmy has quite a lot of penalties on his end. Got Savdar trying to get past Octavian Racer here right now. He's going on the inside of turn 1. Let's see if he's able to get that done, and might actually be able to just brace him off just a little bit. But looks like the Red Bull of Octavian Racer holds on to P8 so far. Savdar still down in 9th, so still running just behind the Red Bull and not able to get by as yet. On lap 33 right now, so still about 3 laps more to go in the race, so needs to get this done. So gap keeping around 3 to 4 tenths as it is there. Let's see how much that's going to increase or decrease as we get on through. Dixon and Perel, still a pretty close gap between the two of them. And we got Perel's teammate Timmy out in front. Of course, he has a significant penalty, as we know. We're going to see how that works out for him. At least that's going to put his teammate up into 5th. But Night Shadow out in front of that with a penalty as well. Let's have a look what penalty Perel has here right now. So Perel has a 5-second penalty. Timmy only has a 5-second penalty right now. And Night Shadow has a 5-second penalty. I thought Timmy had a significant amount of penalties earlier on. I'm not sure what happened with that. But anyway, let's leave the penalties on right now. We know everyone is running on the intermediate tires. Let's have a look what's happening here, because Dixon is definitely looking to get by. Perel is ahead of Timmy right now, so he's up into P5. That was quite an interesting switch between the two of them, allowing his teammate to get by, but Dixon did get by Timmy as well, so not on the good side of Perel racing here. He still has Dixon to worry about going to the end of this race. On lap 34 of 36, about 2.5 laps left to go, and that's going to finish pretty quickly here. So just about few 5-second penalties as we have it. We're going to see how that affects these drivers, because it will affect track position a bit here. That means Dixon will be able to get ahead of Perel and ahead of Night Shadow as it seems there right now. So he looks like he's going to get all the way up into P4 and push those two guys down a position each. Oh, and a bit of contact between Dixon and Perel there. Not sure if anyone took any damage off of that, but that is Dixon up into 5th already, which he was going to get either way. So Perel down to 6th right now. I'm not sure if he took any damage off of that contact between the two of them. We're into lap 35 right now and going. So just another 2 laps left to go, and that's going to be the end here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Let's see how this final 2 laps is going to go. On board with Dixon right now, trying to push it on the inside of oh, and he doesn't actually get it. So on board the Perel, he tried to push it on the inside of Dixon, but not able to get it through. I was wondering if the two of them were going to have some significant contact, and that is Perel into the wall. He is out of the race there. And on lap 35 or 36, unfortunate for him, was running so well throughout the entire race. Had a bit of an issue through with the safety car and the race conditions changing. Unfortunate though, will not be able to finish the race. His teammate there in 6th will be able to finish, but will be losing a position to Savdar there running in 7th. So we're going to see how that finishes off with them. We got Dixon now running in 5th. He's about a few tenths, 2 tenths behind Night Shadow right now, looking to get by and get up another position if he can. And he might just be able to do that before the final lap. Let's have a look, as he's going to definitely try to do it down the pit straight, I assume, on going into lap 36 here right now. Out in front, Santi is now leading by 8.2 seconds. So he's driving pretty well in the rain, as it seems. Has some sort of advantage here on that. Liverpool running about 8.4 seconds behind that. J Hartnell another 5 tenths behind. Night Shadow 1.3 seconds behind. And Dixon about to get by him if he's able to push it on the inside. Let's see. But no, actually holds it back into P5. Doesn't push it on through. because he knows Night Shadow has that penalty, and looks like he knows he's going to get ahead either way. But Jay Hartnell out in front by about 5/10, so he might be able to get close on enough to that. Let's see how that's going to work out. But either way, Dixon is going to be getting up into 4th at the race finish here. And looks like Sofdar will be getting up into 6th position, putting Timmy down a position there. And Hayden is going to cut it quite close to get ahead of Andy there for P9. So we'll see how that finishes off. Okay, so into the final lap. Let's have a look how this is going to finish off. We got Santi about getting through sector 3 there right now, and he's coming around. So he's finished off the final lap, and we're about to get to the end of this race. It looks like it's going to be Santi taking the win for the Dutch Grand Prix. Liverpool is going to take 2nd on the podium. And there goes Santi across the line, takes the win for the Dutch Grand Prix. We got Liverpool coming across here right now. He's going to take 2nd on the podium with a really good strategy. Jay Hartnell goes across 3rd, takes that. Night Shadow and Dixon will switch. Dixon takes 4th. Sofdar takes 5th. Night Shadow takes 6th. We got Timmy taking 8th. Octavian Racer goes up to 7th. We got Andy taking 9th. Hayden will take 9th now. Andy goes down to 10th. Temp takes 11th. And Pet there will come across the line to finish the race in 12th position there. And quite an interesting way he does finish across the line. So let's have a look at the final result before we do get off this session. And do join us off for the next session about to get started here in about 1 minute time. Night Shadow takes driver of the day on that one, so not too bad of a finish for him. Alright, let's have a look at the final result before we do get off the session. Alright guys, so there we have a Dutch Grand Prix round 8 of 22 for SNS Esports. Santi takes the win for that race. Liverpool takes 2nd. Jay Hartnell takes 3rd. Dixon takes 4th and the fastest lap in the race. Sofdar takes 5th. Night Shadow takes 6th. We got Octavian Racer taking 7th. Timmy 8th. Hayden 9th. Andy in 10th. Temps takes 11th. Pet 12th. F1 Pearl finishes 13 after not finishing the race. Sadistic 14. Killer J 15. Rizzle 16th. And Scraze there in 17. And that's it there guys for SNS Esports for round 8 for the Dutch Grand Prix. Thank you guys for joining on that session. Yeah, please make sure you guys leave a like on the video and do subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're gonna end off this stream here right now and head over to the next stream, so join us on for that. Be